Hi, I'm Curtis Tirey.
And I'm Debbie Lattuga, and we're with the Sales Team Coach. And today I want to talk about how busy we are all the time, right? We're nearing the end of the year, and we're busy, busy, busy. What are you seeing with the people you're working with?
Deb, with a lot of the people that I'm talking to, that's exactly right. They're busy. They're meeting, exceeding their goals, running around, and quite honestly, there's been no time to talk about anything other than what's happening, right? Everything's going great, and yet what I'm finding is that people aren't acknowledging what maybe is to come.
Yeah. So the most successful people, when they are building a business or they're growing a business, always think about what's coming next. And they do forecasting. And this is the perfect time of year to actually sit down and think about what is next year going to look like. Are we going to get some increases in the market? Are we getting decreases? Are we staying the same?
Sure.
And then not only that, how does it affect me? And where do I want to go next year?
Well, that's right. And you're right. This is time. Right about now is time. It's business planning time, right? And it's time to sit down and start thinking strategically on where we are and where we're headed to.
Yeah. So what do we do this year? What went really well? What isn't going well? And then where do we see ourselves next year? And what sort of goals do we want to set for ourselves?
Sure.
For the next year? So perfect time. Take out a piece of paper. Say, here's where we are. Here's where we want to go. And then what has to happen to get there?
Sure.
Right? What has to change?
Absolutely. And, there's more than just, our business to talk about, right? We could be talking about where do we see ourselves in our personal lives? Where do we see ourselves in our business? How about our relationships?
Yeah.
Right? We could work on that.
Are we happy with where they are? Do we want to change them? Do we want to make them better? What about our finances? Are we happy with our finances? Mm-hmm. Do we have some goals? And if we have some goals, what are they? And then what steps do we need to do to get there?
Sure.
Right.
So what do we need to do? What are our steps?
Listen, the great way to get kind of a forecast for next year is to find a peer or buddy that might be in the same place that you are and sit down and say, hey, let's mastermind around what do we think next year is going to look like and what sort of goals do we want to set for ourselves. That's a great way to do it. What else could we do?
Well, one of the things that we might do is do a performance review, right? And maybe even upon ourselves, right? If you were you, would you hire you?
Yeah. What did you do really well this year? Where do you have room for improvement? And because once you can identify those things, you can then create a plan to go get better in those areas. Like I really need help with follow-up.
Sure.
Right? I gave myself a 7, and I think if I went to an 8 or a 9, I would do better. Okay, great. Now that we've identified that, how do we go get better?
Sure.
Do we read a book? Do we get a mentor? Do we get somebody that's going to help us get better at our follow-up? Do we need a better system? Right?
And Deb, I just thought of one more thing. Another thing to do would be to take a look at our systems and our processes, right? Do we have the right systems and processes in place to carry us forward, right, into next year and beyond? And I'd question with a lot of the people, at least that I'm talking to, the answer is no. I think there are some things that we might be able to add.
Yeah, a perfect example, I had a conversation with a client this week, and the perfect example is, especially if you're in sales, what CRM are you using? And the response was, oh my gosh, CRMs, they're so big, there's so much to learn. And I said, look, you really only need to know a couple of things. You need to know, how do I enter a contact? Mm-hmm. How do I put notes on the content? And then how do I set a reminder for when I'm going to follow up with them, right? So using a CRM at a high level is an example of a tool that if you improved your usage, could improve your results for next year.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. That's an easy one, too.
That's an easy one. Yeah, well, easy to talk about, not always easy to execute.
Sure.
Right? To use that CRM at a really high level. And yet there's videos out there, there's training tools, there are people that are using a CRM at a high level that you could ask to show you how they're using it, right? So that you can improve your skills.
Yeah. Love it.
So what are you going to do to plan for next year? What sort of actions are you going to take and how are you going to execute? I promise if you do that, your next year will be better than this one.
Great.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. If there's any topics you want us to cover, please leave them in the comments below. We're Debbie and Curtis with the Sales Team Coach. Hey, give us a call. We'd love to strategize about making your next year the best one ever.
You got it. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right.
Sure.
Right.
So what do we need to do? What are our steps?
Take out a piece of paper.
Oh, you already did that. Okay.
So what else could we do?
I don't know. So what else can we do? Okay. We could get with a leader within our organization.
All right.